it's Mackenzie. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we will be looking at Jon Snow's ice and fire relationships. We have to talk about their introduction scenes to one another, right? For his ice, we see him kind of mean.
These introductions are very important as they are the key elements of any relationship. With Jon and Ygritte, it's him realizing that there's a beautiful woman who happens to be a wildling, but he has to kill her. But through the process of not killing her, it spawns their beautiful and innocent relationship that moves forward and develops so beautifully. But with Jon and Daenerys, it's the political arrangement that precedes their relationship, which, hey, why not? In a world of Game of Thrones, most marriages and most relationships start out political and then turn into a loving relationship. But there's always a few that are oh so lucky, and it starts with love, then turns political.
With Ygritte is when she's talking about what would happen to Jon as a crow if he arrived at Castle Black with her, a beautiful wildling girl and a young man. Before anything can happen, she and her band of wildlings capture him and taking him prisoner.
With being taken prisoner is something that Jon sort of uses to his advantage, if you believe in political Jon theory, which, hey, this channel has had some videos that kind of connect to political Jon, but I'll leave some recommended videos in the comments below to talk about political Jon. It is, of course, a great theory. Next, we see Jon and Daenerys and Jon and Ygritte have a conversation about their strong-willed nature. With Ygritte, it's talking about the wildlings and being separated from the wall, but for Daenerys, it's talking about her life story, how she's an empowered woman who's went through many different things that Jon doesn't want to hear.
And of course, you can't forget their location-based sex scenes that each of them get, from boat sex to cave sex. Wonder why. Next, we see Jon and the women talking about what is to happen next. For Jon and Daenerys, it is her reaching Winterfell and to not be scared of the people. As well with the northern lords and being in the north, having particular views. Reflected in this scene is Jon talking to Ygritte about climbing the wall, how it may not be scary, but not necessarily moving forward for the plot. Same thing with the climbing of the wall. Jon climbs on top of Rhaegal, and I would say it is a life-changing moment when comparing climbing the wall to Jon climbing Rhaegal. It is a life-changing experience for his character and for these two women, as these two women are unafraid to go first, to be the leader. Almost encouraging to complete. Same thing when climbing the wall, Jon climbs on top of Rhaegal. This experience, I would say, is a life-changing moment alongside these two women, both unafraid to go first and to be the leader, also encouraging him to complete this journey to get to the destination of desire. The destination of desire is a moment alone. For Jon and Ygritte, it is the time to reflect the accomplishment of climbing the wall when nothing is really going on in the world for them. But for Jon and Daenerys, on the other hand, it is them sneaking away to a waterfall where they share a kiss and talk about being just themselves, as everyone is seemingly in their ear the whole time at Winterfell with no alone time.
Will we get more romantic relationship advice and not advice? Fuck. Will we get more romantic scenes like this between Jon and Daenerys now that the RLJ reveal has come to pass? Is yet to be seen. But hey, for whether you ship Jon and Daenerys or you ship Jon and Ygritte, these are really cute scenes. Or are you team Daenerys? Let me know in the comments below.
But Jon in these relationships isn't always cute and romantic. Jon has to tell these women some hard truths that they will be facing as they continue on their journey. For Daenerys, it is the fear that she is losing everything she has came here with to Cersei. It is asking for strategic advice, which she gives. Although it is hard to say if she appreciates it or not, for Jon and Ygritte, it's the admittance that Jon and the wildlings will have no real success at the wall, and that her going to Winterfell may be just a daydream, and not necessarily in her grasp.
Both of these women are very ambitious, which, hey, Jon really admires that, but again, is it to their detriment is yet to be seen. From giants to dragons, both Jon and Ygritte and Jon and Daenerys have interactions with magical beings, beings that Jon never believed had existed. With the giants, Jon uses a giant named One to defeat the Boltons during the battle for Winterfell. But what about Jon and the dragons? Will Jon use Rhaegal or maybe Drogon to defeat the Night King in the next few episodes is yet to be seen, but will be cool and add to the mirroring elements of these relationships. Why not more dragons and more giants to complete this awesome story? For Jon and Daenerys and Jon and Ygritte, they both have some quiet time alone before they meet the ladies' respective advisors and important people in their lives. For Ygritte, it's Mance Rayder and the King Beyond the Wall. For Jon and Daenerys, it's Jon being able to meet Jorah Mormont, the son of Jorah Mormont, the last Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, which is a beautiful thing to see, of course. Not every scene is cute and romantic. There has to be some political and military involvement in these scenes. With Jon and Ygritte, it's them talking about how the men used to march, and how Jon used to talk about them people marching, so her left foot, right foot conversation. But with Jon and Daenerys, it's more about the Boltons, and how he lost men, and the Boltons lost men while fighting to retain Winterfell back. This, of course, is after her loot train battle, where she fought and killed a majority of the Lannister army, but yet Jon has yet to know this information completely. Why is she hiding it? What is her plan?
As well, we cannot forget the famous windmill and dragon pit scenes in their alone time. For Daenerys, it is talking about how a dragon could not be a slave, how they used to be powerful, how her family used to be so amazing. For Ygritte, seeing the windmill as well. Each of these conversations bring less of a story progression, but is romantic moments in these connections. Also, Jon makes us understand that both of these women are not just normal girls. They are stronger than anyone, including himself, had anticipated, as well, being so different. Of course, Jon and
Ygritte talking about the pretty silk dress that he wants to rip off her, but we don't get too much of a romantic connotation with Jon and Daenerys, but that's yet to be seen, as we didn't really get to see them divulge their I wanted to rip your clothes off motif in episode 7. So we have Jon and the Half-Hand and Jon and Davos. Both of them talk to Jon about being a political player in this game, but Jon talks about how he doesn't like Daenerys, and Jon's kind of not knowing about Ygritte yet. So could this be political Jon, or just a older man giving a younger man advice about women, who he seemingly falls in love with anyway? Now this is not necessarily connected to the ladies, but this relationship of sorts spawns other relationships. With Jon and Ygritte, it is Tormund, who becomes Jon's wildling connection and BFF. With Jon and Daenerys, it is Davos/Gendry that the relationship develops, and hey, these two are very important in the wars to come. Next we get Jon being put on trial for his sort of crimes against the Night's Watch, and, in some sense, crimes against the family. Crime against the Night's Watch being that he stayed with the wildlings, and he had slept with the wildling, and he fought and trained with the wildlings. But with Jon and his sisters, it's the crime against turning against their family, turning against the North, to give the North to Daenerys. But the most key part of these scenes is, I trust him, for Maester Aemon, but also, did you bend the knee to save the North, but did you bend the knee because you love her? Both very important lines in this series about Jon and his politics. Will Jon get a more formal trial for his involvement with Daenerys and bending the knee is yet to be seen, as there's some sort of trials coming up in the next episode, episode 2. It's yet to be seen. This is the end of the current storyline for Jon and Daenerys as of Season 8, Episode 1. But we already saw the end of Jon and Ygritte's relationship, where Jon and Ygritte become separated. Jon and Ygritte fight for about an entire season on opposing sides. Then Jon meets with her at the Battle for the Wall, only to see her get shot and die in his arms in a very sad way. As we know, Jon and Ygritte's love has been one of the truest love stories we have seen in the past, at that time, 4 years and 4 seasons. Jon truly loved Ygritte, but does he truly love Daenerys is yet to be seen. Will we Danny B. Johns' Nisa is yet to be seen, as probably burning her alive, being the blood of the dragon, isn't the next possibility, but it's yet to be seen. But what do you think? Do you think John's ice and fire love stories completely mirror each other and will end in a similar situation? Do you think they will end in a completely different situation? Let me know in the comments below. Shout out to Bobby Catalano, Catherine Harding, and Juanita Bryant for joining my Patreon today. Become a member of the Sassy Squad and the Alluring Elite, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone!